Hi, everyone. This is Mike Haltman here for another episode of Long Island Elites Meet the Member. And for those not familiar with Long Island Elite, it's a philanthropic and business development group that has about 80 some odd members now, all all very talented business people and all very philanthropic in their own right. And today we are very happy to welcome Michael Wright. Michael is an agent with Douglas Elliman, and welcome, Michael.
Thank you very much, Mike. Happy to be here.
Absolutely, great to have you. So you're with Douglas Elliman. Well, first let's just touch real quickly on who you are and where you come from. You're married.
So I've been married to my wife, Ingrid. It'll be 4 years on September 29th, so it's coming up pretty quick.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We just celebrated our first son's first birthday on August 29th.
Wow, mazel tov.
Thank you very much. So that
That's
was
great.
exciting times. We've been on the island for just over 10 years. When we came to Long Island, we were renting a one-bedroom apartment in Patchogue, right on the Patchogue River at the landings. About 5.5 years ago, we bought a modest house in Freeport on the water, and we lived there for 5 years. And as I mentioned off air, we actually sold that, and now we're renting a lovely home in East Meadow.
Well, you know what? Timing is everything. So that's great. And I know that prior to working with Douglas Elliman and actually selling real estate, you had another career. And what exactly were you doing with that?
Sure. So before real estate, I was actually managing a commercial pool company. So we would provide lifeguards and pool maintenance, repair, and renovation services to condos, country clubs, apartment complexes, homeowner associations, things of that nature. So that's career opportunity is actually what brought me to Long Island. Our office was in Hauppauge, and we were managing accounts from Brooklyn all the way out to Riverhead. So it really gave me a crash course on where every town is on Long Island.
Right, right. It is a big and complex place in many regards. So then, what made you move to real estate?
I was with this commercial pool company really since college. So it was about 14 years, and I started as a lifeguard, worked my way up through the company to ultimately run the office out here on Long Island. And after a decade plus of managing 16, 17, 18-year olds, it was giving me some some gray hairs before I was ready for them.
Yeah, you got
And
to use that.
we had a it was a difficult work-life balance as well. I actually had a really good year with them, and got a sizable bonus, and spoke to Ingrid, and I said, listen, I'd gotten my real estate license the year before. Really enjoyed that the opportunities that that's given me and the interactions that I was having with potential clients. Um, but once I got this capital on hand, I went to her and I said, we could do really one of three things with this money. I said I could switch careers. It would be a huge undertaking because real estate is 100% commission based, no benefits, no 401k, no health insurance. We could buy a house, or we could get married. What should we do?
Was it a
And
multiple choice? Was it like A and B or A and C and not B, or how did that work?
yeah, no, it was really just we had one of those. We could only pick one.
Okay.
That was it. So she looked at kind of the amount of time that I was around from spring into mid fall, and she said, I want you to switch careers. I want you to be more flexible and be around more. And it's funny because the opportunity that real estate gave me, we ultimately bought a house and got married within the next 2 years.
And that's fantastic. Now, how did you end up with Douglas Elliman?
So I have a great friend of mine, Dennis Ganley, who I knew before I was even interested in real estate. He works with Douglas Elliman Real Estate Commercial, so he made the introduction. And then once I met the office manager at the office that holds my license in Central Suffolk in Farmingville, Brian Chata, um, I was completely sold on the brand and where to put my license. I interviewed with a few other brokerages to make sure I wasn't making a premature decision. But in terms of Solomon's market share, they're focused on both buyer and seller clients, and and really just like what they do in terms of the support and education that they deliver to their agents was hands down above, head and shoulders above what other brokerages offered.
Well, there is, so I know Dottie Herman, not, we've never met face to face, but I do know her through online, uh, areas. But, I know they don't seem to have gone the route of some of these companies like Compass where, you know, they're, they just, Compass just spends a lot of money. They look to acquire, they look to, it looks like Element is a little more conservative in the way that they run their business.
So I don't want to necessarily, pinpoint one brokerage or the other, but what I can say is that like
Smart.
and yeah, if you read any real estate headlines recently, it's all about how much money Compass spends and what their balance sheet looks like. But overall, like I get recruiting calls all the time from other brokerages, and a lot of what the people on the other end of the call are saying to me, which are managers of offices who want me to put my license with them, it's their sales pitch is what they can do for me, what the split is, what they can offer me in terms of sign-on bonus, and trying to sell me on the fact that the brokerage doesn't matter. And my response is always that the brokerage does matter. And it's you shouldn't sell me on how much money you're going to put in my pocket. You should be selling me on what we together are delivering to the clients that we work for, who are the buyers and sellers.
You know
If we're
what?
not offering additional services, additional technology, a better user experience from for buyers and sellers, the conversation's pretty much over.
So, in my business, we get a lot of our business from real estate attorneys. But what we stress here is that while we get the business from the real estate attorney, they are not our client. And our focus is the client, the buyer, because ultimately, and for you, it's the buyer and seller, which is a great way to be. You're not as concerned with what's in it for you as you are with what's in it for them. And that's a fantastic mentality, and I'm sure that's a large key to your success.
Thanks. And I would say you're one of the few title companies, if maybe the only title company, that interacts with the actual client, the buyer. I work with so many people who are purchasing real estate, and I'm the one following up with their attorney to see where a title is, and they're like, I'm telling them, the buyer, where things are and
Right.
how things are going.
Well, I mean, it's so not to make this about me because it's about you, but a little bit about me. No, so recently we had a situation where a boundary line agreement had to be signed, and the neighbor was not cooperative and really knew nothing about it, and the seller's attorney didn't really want to get involved. The seller of the house didn't really want to get involved. So I told to the buyer's attorney and the real estate agent, I will take it to the neighbor's house and I will get it signed. Because at the end of the day, it's all about getting deals done, and you do what you have to do. So,
Great, because it is like it for people that don't know how simple boundary line agreements are, but how complicated they look, and the fact that they have to get notarized.
right.
People don't want to sign them,
Well,
especially if they're being asked by someone who can't really communicate what this document is illustrating.
Well, in this situation, it got worse than that because it turned out when I got to the neighbor's house, they weren't home. So the seller's attorney wanted to know if I left it on their doorstep with a card, and it's like you can't. It's gonna. It was just anyway. So now you're a team at Elliman. How many
Correct. So
people?
I'm on the Bryn Elliott team at Douglas Elliman Real Estate. Bryn and I actually started the team together about 5 or 6 years ago. The advantage for when we and he started this team for him was he has additional support from an inexperienced agent. The support for me was I get to have a fantastic mentor who's going to provide me some capital to invest in the listings that I receive, and also some uh, invaluable guidance when it comes to working with buyer clients and seller clients. So I knew that I was very green in terms of the real estate process. So he really delivered a lot of education, a lot of handholding in my earlier years, and now I'm still on the team because we are growing together, and you you need to see value wherever you're positioned, and continuing to expand our marketing strategies and expanding our buyer search strategies, whether it be different mailers to different communities, targeting specific properties that buyers are looking for, especially in this market with almost no inventory, and also seller strategies in terms of being on every single website, every single social media platform, doing video tours, being in print advertising on front and back covers. It's difficult for a real estate agent to do that themselves. So just the collaboration that the team provides that value, even today, being 7 years in.
Well, I mean, you obviously did something right. So I have no doubt that your career is going to excel from here, and it's fantastic. And
Thank you so much.
I appreciate as someone who's had to reinvent or move to new careers over the course of my life. I appreciate that you took the shot, and you've made it work. So congratulations.
Thank you very much. It certainly wasn't easy, but it was definitely worth it.
Nothing worthwhile ever is, but serious. But that's great. That's great.
Good point.
And in conjunction with your bringing up collaboration, I wanted to touch base a little bit on a group that we both belong to called Long Island Elite, which I mentioned at the beginning. Uh, again, it's a great group of professionals that provide a venue and an outlet to collaborate, to meet other people who can help you and where you can help them. So, what originally drew you to Long Island Elite?
Yeah, to go back to kind of square one, when Ingrid and I were living in Patchogue, there was a running club that was run out of a bar that's no longer there. It was called Haltman, and Tuesday evenings at 6 o'clock, a group of people would get together, run a 5K, and get discounted beers at the end of the run. And it was a worthwhile reason to have a beer and get together with some friends on a Tuesday, and you didn't feel so bad about it because you got a little exercise in. And through there, I met Andrew Janisic, who was a member of the LA for several years then. And he said, "Mike, you got to check out this group. It's fantastic in terms of the networking and the leadership, education, etc." And I had been to, I was kind of just getting started in my real estate career at the time, and so mentorship and education was obviously critical to me and very important at that time. But also, I was trying to find different networking groups. So a lot of the ones that I was going to were very, I don't know, they were very surface oriented. What do you do? Who do you want to meet? And what business can you give me? What business can I give you? It was very like, let me make the connection. That was it. Whereas when I went to the first LIE meeting, it truly felt like a family. Like people were busting each other's chops. People have known each other for decades. It was, and it wasn't like, oh, I've known people for decades, so there's no outsiders allowed. It was super inclusive, and people just wanted to know more about you and about who you are, like very much like this, who you are as a person. What do you do for your career, and also what are you interested in outside of work.
How
So
how long have you been a member?
uh, 6 years, maybe
Okay.
5 or 6 years. And also the element of giving back. I feel like a lot of people have this intrinsic need to give back to the community that they live in, or just give back to people who maybe aren't as fortunate as they are in general. Um, but it's difficult to choose kind of that path and to make sure that your donation, your contribution is actually making a difference. So to have confidence in the leadership of this group to select the right charity each year takes a load off my plate to actually
No doubt.
decide where money goes and where some effort can go to make a difference.
You know what? As the board chair of a charity not affiliated with Long Island Elite, I can tell you that that is, when you talk to donors, that is a large uh, something that you have to overcome. People want to know that their money is going to what they think it's going to, and that a large part of that money is going. So, the fact that Long Island Elite does serious vetting of any organization before they bring it on as the charity partner is definitely a key fact. So the philanthropy is something that drew me into Long Island Elite too, because we are all fortunate in our own ways, some less, some more, but we are all definitely very fortunate, and giving back is a critical thing. And I think the world would be much better if more people gave back, but that's a whole nother issue. But no, so the group is great. I know we have the gala coming up, which is going to be quite the event,
Yeah,
and
20th anniversary should be huge at Ohika Castle with a benefiting a great charity, UCP. It'd be
yeah,
fantastic.
no question. So I think all in all, it's been an experience at LIE that you've enjoyed, and that I imagine that you're going to continue to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, so as I said, I moved to Long Island, my wife and I, a little over 10 years ago. So we don't have the social structure that a lot of people that grew up on Long Island do. And this was a great way to really meet some fantastic colleagues and mentors, but people that actually became close personal friends and really more like family. I know I said in the beginning, but it is truly like a family. And I think the giving back element of it, it's when I explain the LIE to people that aren't familiar with it, I say primarily we're a social organization that gives back to the community, and it's made up of business professionals. So just by happenstance, business tends to get done.
I think that's a great description. That's good. But yeah, no, I think when I tell people about the group too, the fact that it combines all of these different things, the fact that when I'm in a networking environment, networking is a lot about know, like, trust. You have to, until you get to trust, you don't really have a lot. And I know that Long Island Elite does build that trust among members. And like every group, you get out what you put in, but it's definitely a welcoming and solid environment. So
Yeah,
that's
and you
good.
do have to, like we said, in terms of doing what you say you're going to do, the group is very good about making sure that the people that are inside the group are the people that do what they say they're going to do.
Yes,
So when you can have confidence when that business opportunity comes up.
I agree. I agree 100%. So, you know what, Michael, this was great. I appreciate you taking the time. I think people are really going to get to know you, and which is the whole idea of Meet the Member, getting
Yeah,
to know.
no, thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity. This was a lot of
Listen,
fun.
it's my pleasure, and I will see you soon.
All right, sounds good. Yes, I'll see you Friday.
All right, good deal.
All right,
Take care.
so long, you too.